The content you're about to enjoy comes from the archives of The Best You. We're devoted to the very best in personal development, with a platform and resources dedicated to inspiring and changing people's lives. At The Best You, we work with the world's leading writers and trainers on the evolution of the self, and people whose journeys have been affected by their work and words. These Best You EXPO talks are recorded in front of a live audience in a live event. We highly recommend that you focus on the message. As they say, what you focus on expands. Enjoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are in for a real treat. I will tell you a little bit. If you don't know already, I'm sure you do, because that's why you've packed in here today. Bernardo Moya is the CEO of NLP Life Training, which is the largest NLP training organization in the world. He's the founder of all this that you see downstairs and up here, The Best You. He's been in business for over 30 years, bless you. He's editor-in-chief of The Best You magazine, producer and promoter for many of the biggest names in personal development. He is, quite simply, extraordinary. Through his 8 brands, 26 staff, Bernardo's objective, and I know this because I know him well, is to provide education and inspiration to people from all over the world, through his expos, through TV, and all his e-learning platform. One thing that Bernardo passionately believes, and I use that word again, passionately believes, is that the quality of your life depends on the quality of the questions you ask yourselves. I know that there's one question that you will never, ever question, and that's your decision to listen to the amazing words of wisdom of, ladies and gentlemen, give a very warm welcome, Mr. Bernardo Moya!
If you're interested in sharing your story, sharing your dreams, sharing your ideas in the largest personal development platform, the Best You EXPO, sign up today. Go to www.thebestyouexpo.com or send an email to info@thebestyou.co.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Paul. That's a very long introduction. We've got to edit that a little bit. Thank you so much for being here. My team's been asking me, says, well, what are you going to talk about? And you know what? I've been a bit busy trying to put this expo together, and I wasn't really sure. I was sure, but kind of like I didn't really have a lot of time to really plan it or prepare it. But he's given my speech away, to be honest, because I was going to talk about the question and the quality of your life. But I'll go into that a little bit later. This talk is divided into 2 different parts. The first part is, I don't want to call it a manifesto because it really isn't, but it's based on what I've learned in my 10 years in business in personal development and in my 12 or 13 years in in loving personal development and coming into it, okay? So the first part of the talk is about that. And I won't call it a manifesto, but it came across as a manifesto because I've managed to experience and learn a lot about what is right and what is wrong about the industry, okay? It's difficult because when you start new like I did, and I came into this quite late, and I'll explain a little bit more about that later. It's difficult to take that step forward to say, you know what, I am actually a leader. I am a visionary. I am actually leading the way, I suppose, in some of the things that I'm doing. And it's very difficult when you're promoting people, like, I don't know, Paul McKenna, Jason Vale, Barbara De Angelis, John DeMartini, all these amazing people that I managed to interview and work with. It's very difficult to take a step forward and to say, you know what, I actually have something to share. But, there comes a time in life when we just do that. We have to do that. So as I said, the first part of this talk is about kind of what I believe it is. And then the second part is going to be more about kind of how I see you can become a better version of yourself and moving forward in life, okay? I'm not a guru. I will never consider myself a guru. I'm just a normal guy that just works very hard and just has big dreams. So life, for me, has obviously been very interesting. It's been challenging, and in some points, I've hit rock bottom many, many times. It's been, and these moments have been turning points in my life. And a lot of us have had those. We've had those turning points. Something that has impacted us dramatically, either personally or professionally. And what happens is we hit rock bottom. And when you hit rock bottom, It's a moment when you just literally have to start looking at life. And it's the time where you can really say, you know what, I give in, or I'm going to come back with a vengeance. And I'm going to reinvent myself. And I'm a great believer in that. One of the things I will say that it's never ever too late, and I will say that later again. It's never too late to become the best version of yourself. So I've worked very, very hard. Very, very hard. Tens of thousands of hours into the new projects, the new idea, whatever it was. When it was real estate, when it's real estate, when it's personal development, it's personal development. I give myself in 100%. And obviously I've sacrificed a lot of valuable time with my family and my loved ones in pursuit of that big dream, of that next big thing. And if I have achieved anything, or if I have anything that I'm really proud of, is obviously my family. They're my legacy. When you're parents, you understand that. You want your kids to be better than you, and I know they are. You can see the charisma, you can see who they are, and they're just, when they evolve into these beautiful, growing, individuals, which are so amazing, that's what I think every parent wants. So they're my pride. I'm very proud of what I've achieved, I think, from a business point of view. And do I have regrets? Yeah, but I just never look at the past. If I've learned anything, so I don't know, I was talking with someone this morning and they were telling me, I said, we can't sort that out. That's the past. Let's talk about now. How can we sort this out now? For me to focus, I need to be looking at where I'm going. I can't be looking at the past. It doesn't help me. I've got information from it, but I need to be looking forward. So that's one of the things that I've learned. But I came late into the industry of personal development from a place of despair, tremendous darkness and uncertainty. I lost my financial independence, the first time at 26, the second at nearly 38, 37. So pretty much banks were taking over, 25 employees, everything was going under, and it was all happening in front of me, and I just couldn't believe it because I just didn't believe in the real estate bubble. Oh my God, was it a bubble or what? And it caught me, and I wasn't expecting it. Luckily, I was on my journey of personal growth. I came across NLP. And for all of us, we all have a moment in these turning points whereby it might be an article, it might be a quote, it might be a book, it might be someone's talk. There's something that triggers something in our life that all of a sudden we start doing things differently. We start looking at life differently. And I experience this many, many times with all the amazing people that I work and the people that attend those courses and these amazing testimonials. So that book for me was Paul McKenna's book, Change Your Life in 7 Days, which was packed with NLP and Richard Bander's stuff. It was the first time I came across him. And then on the back of that, I thought, I want to do this NLP training. I went into it professionally because I wanted to learn those techniques so I could help my team to become better communicators. I was still hoping to save my business. Little did I know it was too late, but I was already on my journey of reinventing myself. And I got so much more than I was expected from that training. And all of a sudden, I wanted to become a different person. I knew that the job that I was doing wasn't fulfilling. A lot of us, we go through life and we just basically have a very unfulfilling job, but we just carry on doing it. Well, mine was paying off. I had great houses and lifestyle and cars and everything else, but I wanted to do more. I wanted to be more. I wanted to make a difference. How many of you want to do more and be more? Well, we should all want to do more and be more. We should all want to become the best you. We should all want to become the best version of ourselves. So I had that moment, and I thought, excuse me, fuck that, I'm not doing this anymore, I want to do something different. So at the same time as my real estate was going down, I had the opportunity to take this training company on, and that was it. So it was this training that changed my life. It put me in a completely different journey. And so if I fast forward now, well, NLP Life Training, which was a company that I started, is now the largest NLP training organization in the world. It was quite surreal because one day I'm training with them, the next day I'm promoting them. So I then took over and I started NLP Life Training, which is what I continue to do. I still work with these great people. But 5 years ago, I started The Best You because I thought there was still missing. So within 5 years of in the industry, I started identifying there's something missing. There's all these great talented people, but there isn't a place where people could go and connect and meet them. And there isn't a place where those that are looking, seeking, interested in inspiration or becoming the best version of themselves to meet. So that was the whole idea of The Best You. That's how it came across. Started with a magazine. I instantly knew I wanted to do expos. I wanted to do it all live and blah, blah, blah. So this was in my head 5-6 years ago. And I'm a great believer in the law of attraction, but law of attraction with action. But I'm also a great believer in the law of manifestation. If you make big pictures, you make big pictures in your head, you think big, things will start coming your way. If you don't, it's never going to happen. So I had these ideas in my mind many years ago. I mean, this is a very mini expo for me. I want to have 50,000 people. I want to run them all over the world. I mean, you can't even imagine. I mean, my pictures don't fit in this bloody building. So that's how I got into it. And what I will say is that I learn a lot, and to say that I learn a lot is an understatement. I've worked with some amazing people. But I've also have to say that, and I've worked with some amazing people. But let me say on the other side, I've also met a lot of people. Now, this is me now, the promoter, telling you that I've met a lot of people that I am very disappointed with. These are people that are in the industry who are simply interested in being in this business for the wrong reasons, for making money. They're just interested in filling rooms and just making sure that they sell to as many people their new program. There's a lot of people that read, that write these amazing books, but they're not congruent. I've met them. And a lot of them are sad, angry people. A lot of people should read their books, memorize it, and then go and practice it. Again, very disappointing. So that's what I feel in somehow is wrong with it. I think a lot of people expect me to put everything that I have everything that I work so hard. You can't imagine what it is to put an event like this together. And everyone, or some people, expect me to put all my resources at their disposal simply because of their name. And it's not right. So, but then on the other hand, there's the other people that are on the other side of the book, the quote, the seminar, and I've come across three types of people. There are those that are literally in the world, they've learned certain things in life and in school, and that's it, they're pretty much getting on with it. They just have, in a way, given up. They live a relatively sad life, waiting for something to happen or to the day end, to their last days. And then there's those that have these amazing dreams, that want to do things. They read, they interact, they go to seminars and stuff like that, but then they procrastinate. They don't take the step forward. They keep on dreaming. And that's a shame. Because if we read these books, if we attend these courses, it's to take action, to make it happen. And then there's those that, the third lot, which are not last but least, but they are, these are the people that are changing the world. These are the people we look up to. But this has been happening from the beginning of time. I'm not talking about inspirational speakers. These are people that have said, I want to do this. And they go and do it. And they become the leaders of the world. So, one of the books that I read recently, which I would really recommend, and unfortunately we didn't have it in the book, but Brené Brown, Braving the Wilderness. How many of you read it? Highly recommend it. An amazing book. And Braving the Wilderness it's about the metaphor about being brave to find your own path. And finding your own path means sometimes you're going to be prepared to be alone. Braving the wilderness. And we're scared. We're frightened. And funny enough, 2-3 months before that, by reading her book, I actually came up with something. One of the days when I get some inspiration, which is when I normally walk. And I came up with the same thing, which is I would rather be alone. I've always been like that. I would rather be alone than with someone that doesn't believe in me. I would rather be alone than with someone that insults me, that doesn't believe in me, that gives me negative words. I would rather be alone than with people that don't believe that the world can become a better place. I would rather be alone than with anyone that basically doesn't believe that, equality should be a norm. So think about it. Be prepared to be alone if you want to succeed in life. Break those comfort zones that we tend to live in. They're no good. Push yourself. Because you know what? We tend to believe that we're immortal, that we live forever. We know we die, but we just don't think it's going to be tomorrow. We don't think it's going to be next week. So we keep putting off these things. We keep on procrastinating. Why? I'm not going to say a lot of swear words, but why the fuck? Okay? So, brave the wilderness. Be prepared to be alone and be prepared to do what you need to do. So, and I'm finishing kind of my first part of the presentation. This world is in a mess. And if I've come up to anything, if I've learned anything in these 10 years in the business of personal development, is that my job, as a promoter, okay, as someone that has something to share, I'm no guru here. Okay? I'm just simply saying that my job is to try and educate those that are educating others to make sure that we teach the world, because I believe people that are in this personal development industry hold the flag of change. We need to change the world. You becoming the best version of yourself is your obligation. You have to become the best version of yourself. You have to be the best you, because the world needs you. And because you know what? If you are the best version of yourself, your family and people around you, better or worse, are going to be better too. And then you're going to be working for a company that cares about the environment, cares about the things. And there's many things that we need to take care about. Slavery. We were talking about slavery. We did a panel this morning about A21. There's 34 million slaves in the world. There's ridiculous stats. Global warming. Plastic in the oceans. Mental illness. Inequality, in the workforce or whatever it is. These are things that need to be addressed. So you also, by becoming the best version of yourself, you need to make sure that you are addressing the things of the world. And that's what I want the best you to become. And that's the campaign that we support, the best you, a better world, in both here and in Long Beach and moving forward. We will be supporting and we will be trying to educate those that are educating and those that are attending our courses to be aware of the things that the world needs our support with.
If you're interested in speaking, exhibiting, or getting involved in the largest personal development expos in the world, contact us today at www.thebestyouexpo.com or send us an email to info@thebestyou.co.
What I'm saying is that we can't hide. You can't hide. You can't hide anymore. We've all got to take action. So, just to finish this part of the talk is just to simply say that. Becoming the best you is your obligation. You have to take action, stop procrastinating, and just make sure that you start leading the way. And Paul was saying about the question, and that's kind of what I'll be working on as a personal project moving forward, is trying to do a documentary and a film and also kind of like a book, which is around the question of finding your true purpose. And he did say it, but that's the bottom line, is the quality of your life will depend on the quality of the questions you ask yourself. That's it. Oh, well, is that rocket science? Well, it's not. Just listen to yourself. When you wake up in the morning, how great am I going to be today? How many people am I going to inspire today? How many amazing people am I going to meet today? How good do I look today? Whatever it is, just turn it on. But there's other people, oh my God, how fucking shit is today going to be? How much traffic am I going to find today? How many people are going to piss me off today? So there's two different types of questions here. The quality of your life will determine the quality of your questions. And what I was saying is we will have a social, personal, professional, and global responsibility. So there's 7.4 billion, 50,000 up or down in the world at the moment. And one of the questions I ask myself is that, well, it's by 2,100, it's 11.2. That's a big increase, isn't it? And one of the things that I have no doubt, I always used to love history. Imagine these guys, these Vikings. They're in this little wooden boat and they're up in Sweden somewhere and they're thinking, let's get in this little piece of wood and let's go over that way. What's over there? I don't know. Let's go and find out. What have we got? Nothing. Just some water, a bit of rum and some salt. Let's go. From the beginning of time, people have been pushing the boundaries of what possible and is possible. I mean, just think about the world is full of amazing stories. Just go back and read the history books of people that have pushed the limits. And if I ask myself, so I know that we've done that. We've built the most amazing infrastructures. Someone thought of a pyramid. Someone thought of the Taj Mahal. People thought this in their heads and then they put it on paper and, oh my God, 100 years later, it's built. So, we're capable of the most amazing things. We really are human beings. But the question before I go into this is let me ask you, out of the 100 and something billion people that is estimated has been on the planet since the beginning of time, how many do you think have actually made a difference? I don't know, 10 million, 20 million? And it's a sad factor if you think about the 7.4 billion that we're on the planet now. And the fact is that there was a great quote from Dr. Sylvia Earle when I met her. She's a diver. She was before Jacques Cousteau. And I met her, and she's an environmentalist. And she said that you cannot care about what you do not know about. It's simple, but it's beautiful. You cannot care about what you do not know about. So that's the whole part of what we're trying to do, is to educate people. The more we can educate people about creating awareness of the issues that we have on the planet, the more we can create awareness of... So all these talks, everything we're doing, they're all going to be online. Everything's going to be available. I want this available to as many people around the world because I want people to learn. But if you don't understand about it, then you won't care about it. So we need to make sure that we understand that. And one of the things that, looking at how people have stood out in comparison with others, for me, it's been three common denominators. One is that they're resilient. Resilience is an inner power that we all have. I know it's kind of like it's a word that's available quite often now, people use it. But we all have resilience. Some people, well, I'm not resilient. Of course you are. If you have a kid and there's a moment of life or death, and you have to lift up a bus or you have to push someone out of the way, you will do whatever it takes. We all have that resilience within us. But why do we have to be in these extreme situations to pull from it? We're all capable of doing the most amazing things. Resilience is, you live in a war zone where there's bombs and you've got no food and you're trying to keep your family alive, and you have to put them on a boat and you have to cross the Med because it's the only option you have. It's the only option you have. You have to do it. So we all have that resilience. And that's one of the common denominators of people that succeed and stand out in life. They're resilient. You have to be resilient. The other thing is change or revolution. From the beginning of life, if we look at industrial revolutions, agricultural revolutions, it's always been kind of like a situation where we're obviously trying to deal with an established system and we're coming up with something new. And the thing is that people are scared of the word change. The moment you start embracing change as a good thing, it's happened to me so many times. I've had adversity just hit me right in the face. And I always start looking at, what am I going to learn from this? Why is this happening? What did I do then for this to happen now? But the moment you start welcoming change in your life and you start seeing it as a good thing, that's a good thing for you because you're literally pushing your boundaries. You're pushing your boundaries, you're working outside your own comfort zone. And the other thing is you've got to keep evolving, okay? I find it, well, I'll talk about the phone later, but I find it how interesting it is that we're willing to wait for hours to get our new iPhone. But then when it comes down for us to kind of reinventing our software or trying to do things or think differently, we struggle with it. You have to carry on evolving. You're not the same person you were when you were 19. You're not the same person you were when you're 30 or whatever it is. But you have to make sure that you do that. Carry on growing. Carry on pushing yourself. And there's life is, I love, again, you don't have to go far just to read the facts of so many people that have reinvented themselves, and people that are resilient. Tim Ferriss got turned down 26 times, the 4-hour book. Jack Canfield, he got turned down 140 times. 140 times! He is, if not one of the most established authors in the world. He actually self-published at the end. Agatha Christie got turned down so many times. J.K. Rowling. People that reinvented themselves and started very late in life. It's packed, it's full. The stories, Ronald Reagan started at 55. Stan Lee, Spider-Man and Martel, 45. J.R. Tolkien, Lord of the Rings, 62. Harrison Ford started at 35. Al Jarreau, he started at 35 as well. Oprah, oh my God. You know the story of Oprah. Raped at 17 by family, abused. She lived obviously in an area where, racism was a big thing and trying to get into the media industry being a woman. Look at her now. Sylvester Stallone, 35, had to give up all his jewelry just to, and sell his dog in order to keep the rights of his book, Rocky. And so on and so on. And we live in an amazing time. In the old days, if you thought something that was out of the box, especially if you were Spanish and you lived near the Inquisition area, you were burned alive. How lucky are we now? Literally, we can get on our phones, we can say what we want. We can tweet away. Yeah. So, we've thought amazing things, We have amazing tools at our disposal. You know, I'm sure you know, but we've got more technology in our iPhones than they had in the Apollo 11. We can go global, we can be Facebooking live, we can do anything we want. The only thing that's stopping you, in some cases, is you. Hashtag no excuses. Hashtag no bullshit. That's my approach. I can smell bullshit from a mile away. I can hear people talking about all the reasons why, all the reasons why, all the reasons why. What are you actually going to do about it? So, the world is full of contrast. You know, we have a big objective and we have a big goal for us to achieve. And what we're trying to do through our teachings and through our learnings is to inspire and reach 150 million people in the next, 5 or 10 years. And I remember I was in a talk, and this was like, I think a year and a half or 2 years ago, and I think I said, we're going to try and reach 10 million people. And this guy said, why only 10? He really pushed the button. So I said, no, you're right. Why only 10? I mean, if you're thinking about it, I mean, if we get into the US market or we just start putting all our content available in China or in India, then all of a sudden, we're reaching 150 million people overnight. So from a person that read a book 13 years ago, from a person that attended a course 12, 13 years ago, from a person that got into personal development 10 years ago, and I've been in business for 30 years, okay? And I've failed many times. But I'm here now, and I've come up with the idea of the best you because I'm looking for people that are interested in changing the world. I'm interested in people that believe that anything is possible at any time. And if you believe in the same things like I do, if you believe that we can make the world a better place, if you believe that you should become the best version of yourself, well, I hope to see you again. I hope you support us. And I hope you tell the world, and let's just make it happen. And that's pretty much it. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think you'll agree with me, a true inspiration. The Chief Inspirational Officer of the Best You, Mr. Bernardo Moya, one more time.
For more information, go to www.thebestyou.co.